That's good. That will never be good, and that's not bad. There's no one I'd rather be than me.
Anyways, so there are many things and many layers between it, and I was talking about this plasmatic thing that I saw. So it was this thing, and it was taking different kinds of forms, different kinds of acting so strange, acting so weird, that it was moving in all kinds of directions. It didn't have like a stable kind of form, and they were able to actually create that using their own technology. And I know that there are many people coming out with all kinds of source of information and saying this and that and this and that, and many, they will be something like, okay, but if you are saying that, could you actually prove that that thing actually happened? And I'm like, yeah, if I had like physical proof, I would, to people, but I don't have any physical proof, but I know what I saw in my own eyes. And the proof is that those things and all of that kind of information that people need to find out and understand what is happening is out there, is actually out there. Even so, and even though some information is still biased, there is still a part of us as humanity having discernment. And we must use that discernment to try and figure it out, not the right or wrong type of information, but the information that resonates with us. But remember that information that resonates with us, it depends, and it is different based on each one's levels of perception. And so all of this is really intertwined and really complex, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. There are many types of people that have no actually ill implication. They have no, direct ill towards someone or something. And even so, they put out there certain kind of information that is not healthy or helping humanity go in any kind of evolving way. And those people are biased, but in what way they are actually biased? They are biased in a way that something else is working through them to make people divide. When people start to believe in something, they will have that kind of experience. And so for some people, like I said, they will be fed with anything they hear or see, because we as humans, we still act and exist and coexist based on our instincts. We still have certain parts of ourselves that are still historical, since the creation of us humans. And we have those parts of ourselves because there were certain parts implicated into all of this that actually alternated the human DNA and the strings of the human DNA to actually affect their perception, that their level of perception and their level of judgment, detaching them from their own form of truth and united truth. And that is their discernment. And affecting their discernment and affecting this base, they divided people and they created all of this. It's a seed that is implanted. And they're trying to play with all of this, but they do not understand yet all of the implications that are in the middle. So even if they had, and even if they have access to really develop technology right now, or even in the future, they will still be too focused on the physical part and on the overall this kind of thing to actually try to understand what the fuck is actually going and happening in the middle. I know, for an example, that I had an experience in which there are certain beings, certain entities that are incarnated here, and sometimes they are being given a mission. This is just like kind of a military project. So there are many subjects, and all of those subjects, they have different kinds of tasks, but they are not allowed to talk with the other subjects to find about their tasks. And so they are separated, and they're not allowed to find out about what others are doing, because that's forbidden. And so even though they do not have access to actually talk with the others and find the information that what the project is actually about, it's still having their own implication and something to do about it. And so they are being kind of controlled from a distance. There are certain light, I don't know if I could or actually put it like that, because I don't want to sound so like the type of, I don't know, but let's say so that it's already too late for that, and I'm just going to put it like that. But keep it in mind that I don't actually mean it just exactly by that. So try to find a way through my words. So like I said, there are beings having different kinds of tasks, and they are being incarnated here. And let's say there could be two sides, but anyways, this is what humans want to believe, that there is always two sides, the dark side, the dark side and the light side, the light forces and the dark forces. But it's never like that. All of the entities, they make part of the same pot, they make part of the same whole. They create an entire I don't know, together. I don't know how should I say that. But even so, paradoxically, they are divided and individual. Sorry, I keep touching the stand of the microphone. Even so, those entities, they are separated and have individualistic tasks and ideas and things they want to do and things that they do and things that, But at the same time, like I said, because everything exists at the same time, and everything is happening at the same time, all of the possibilities and everything that is happening could be taken in calculation. And that could also mean two sides, the so-called light side and the so-called dark side. But what if those that have certain limited ideas and certain dark ideas about hurting others could be put on the side that is tagged by humans as the dark side? But even so, like I said, those are individuals that they have their own behaviors, their own ideas to which to go and what to do and all that kind of stuff. Let's say, what if you could do something bad, or what is called bad or good, and that could be tagged, as humans says, the dark side or the light side, or in a religious style, the hell and the heaven. Okay, so now, because I've addressed that, there are certain entities that incarnate here as humans, having different kinds of tasks, not knowing about the project itself, not knowing what they are actually dealing with at a larger scale, because we humans, as individualistic beings, even so, like I said, it's a really complex thing, and everything is intertwined, and there is all of the background of humans, everything that connects us, and as pattern, and still at the same time at 55% and the 50% collective kind of thing, we make part of the same pot, and still we're connected with both sides. What if you are incarnated here and then do something that is considered or tagged as good or bad, but you are not aware of that? You are not aware of that because right now you are seeing through another dimension. You are seeing things based on your vibrational state, based on your biological state, because of the limitations of our DNA and our adaptations of the human body, and the creation of our overall human species, and the limitations that they actually implanted, and all of the programs that they are actually using and doing to limit humans. And what if you are already doing your mission, but you are not aware of that? And what if you are doing something bad? Or what if you are doing something good? Like I said, those are just in a really limited view, because it's not just about that. It's a really complex overall thing, and all of those things, they are intertwined, and all of that kind of things. So that could be another possibility. And there are possibilities, and those possibilities, they are infinite, but they are happening at the same time in multitude realities, in an infinite based reality, that those are happening, and all of those that are existing, they are existing in a plasmatic form. Even us as human beings, and the matrix, and all of the things, everything is happening like really liquidy, in a very subtle form, even though we are seeing and perceiving it because of our limitations of our human bodies, because, like I said, of our limited capabilities of our DNA strings, and all of that kind of stuff. And so, like I said, going back to what I was talking about, because I'm jumping from a subject to another subject that has no actual sense to people to actually understand all of that. Some people don't want to open up to this. Some people are just have their own stuff that they're dealing with, and they're still living at a very low perceiving state. And they're living at a very low perceiving state, and they do not want to deal with any kind of this shit. Quote. Because it's not so bad, you know, like it's not so shitty, if you know what I mean. Like, there are good days and also bad days, but those, like I said, they are based on the perception of one person. And what if those people, they are doing, like I said, their own mission, their own stuff, and without actually they're thinking like, okay, I'm doing the right thing, but what if they're doing, like I said, quote, the bad thing, because what I've talked about earlier. And all of those people that they are like individual entities, they're not conscious enough, they are not aware enough of their implication and overall their entity implication in all of this, in all of those planes. Yeah. And it happened to me, going back to what I was talking about, It happened to me really recently. It happened to me really recently that I had this astral projection. I don't know exactly if it was an astral projection or I was actually traveling, because astral projection, like, let's please people, can we actually move on and evolve from that limited definition of astral projection and out of body experiences and all of that kind of stuff? Can we just please move on from all of that? Because those kind of things, they are already starting to be really boring, you know. Astral projection and out of body experiences and remote viewing and clairvoyance and, I don't know, intuitivity and all of those kinds of, they are just different from each other. They're not the same thing. And sometimes people are just tagging things based on their limited perception, based on their, I don't know, stuff. It's really annoying. I'm trying to, you know, like I said in one of my YouTube videos, just go on and check that video if you want. Like I said in one of my YouTube videos, some are just are trying to be as kind as they can, but they're just ending to be really like assholes, and it's not cool, you know. It's not cool. I rather, and honestly, in all my honesty, I rather prefer someone that is really honest and straightforward rather than that type of fake kindness and fake stuff that I really don't resonate with. And I think that I should actually put a tag on my content classification, sorry, for my live streaming, because I don't think that it's alright to keep swearing like that, so sorry. Okay, that's it. I put content classification. It's done. Yeah, so I rather deal with people that are like straightforward and honest rather than being like straightforward assholes, you know. Because it's not cool at all to I don't know, to be like that. So like I was talking about earlier about those kind of things. So what if those individualistic persons, they have their own agenda? For me, like I said, it happened when I was in what's so called an astral projection or an experience, something like that. And then sometimes I'm being given like kind of missions, something to do. And I go there and I do that. But sometimes I wonder, will that affect the overall stuff? In which way? In a good way or in a bad way? But even so, those are just such limited views. And sometimes when we recognize that pattern, we must break that. Because that is not only affecting us as human beings, but also the information that we're sharing with others is inflicted onto them and affecting them. So I believe going really far away from all of those kind of things, there are many things that are going on, and those that are blaming, judging others based on their stuff because they just said some words and they think they're allowed and have the stuff to actually laugh about the others. They are just some really limited assholes because they are refusing to see for themselves what is going on. So it happened to me many times that people, there will be something like, not all of the people, of course, but there are certain individuals that they were something like laughing about what I'm talking about or what I'm saying. And then when I'm trying to explain to them, it's alright to have different opinions. It's alright to have all of those different kind of views and beliefs and all of that kind of stuff. But look, I'm gonna read, or I'm gonna try to understand why you are seeing things in the way that you are seeing, and then you are going to try and understand why I'm seeing things the way I'm seeing and believe the things that I'm believing. And many people, those individuals that I had to deal with, they just lose their patience, and they don't have enough patience to actually try and listen to me or to try and understand what I'm talking about. And it's like I'm talking some, I don't know, it's like I'm telling a really hard equation or something like that. I'm just saying like, no, there are things that, not that they are bigger than us, but they require a more deeper understanding. And what annoys me the most is that people are really indifferent about all of this. They just put it aside and living their daily life, thinking that they're bringing their implication in society and its development, in the overall, for the benefit of the overall human population of the whole planet. I don't know. And they're thinking like, okay, if I did that and said that and all of that, blah blah blah, then it's alright. Or maybe they don't even think about that, and they're just too focused on themselves, too egoistical to focus on themselves, on their lives. And I know that many have different kinds of struggles, and it's not their fault for that. It's not their fault for that, because I know there are many projects going on that it's affecting overall the society and the whole planet, because they want that. They want us enslaved. They want us to struggle with all of this. They created all of this, and they want to see us suffer because they are feeding from this. And I know for a certain fact there are so-called light beings, entities, or angels, or I don't know, whatever you want to call them, those types of consciousness, that they are feeding from love, they are feeding from happiness, they are feeding, and they want to bring more of that. And there are those that are on the opposite side. Like I said, in this story, there could be two sides fighting, I don't know, and they are feeding, and the others, those dark entities, they are feeding from sorrow, they are feeding from hate, they are feeding from greed, they are feeding from hurting others, and they're implicating themselves, and they're affecting others, they are possessing others and their vehicles. There is lots of things that are going on in the astral realm and on certain realms, and certain light beings, so-called light beings, that are actually fighting with their own energy and their own soul for creating liberation through all of this. Of course, there are those both extremes, but there must be a middle, and we as human biological beings, we are in the middle. We are in the middle, and we are the middle for them, creating this bridge between all of this. That's why you can find everything that you want on the earth, and it's not just heaven and light and bliss and I don't know, food for everyone, water for everyone, and all of that kind of stuff, because we also have this other thing that we have to deal with and must be created a bridge. But even so, it's not right what is going on the planet, and how people are dying from starvation, how people are dying from having no water, how the wars are happening, and all of this greed and hate for some piece of land that those people are just going to die anyway, and I mean, every human is going to actually die someday, either from something happening to them or just dying from from being too old, and so why the fuck does it even matter a piece of land? Cannot all the lands be actually connected and everyone having access to water, food, and everything that people actually need? This never made sense to me at all, at being so-called kind of, I don't know, starseed. I mean, this is what they're calling it to be. And myself, many times I don't resonate with those kinds of tags and stuff, but yeah. So it's not people's fault. Sometimes I know that many don't have an actual excuse for behaving the way they're behaving or acting the way they're acting and all of that kind of stuff. But at the same time, still many have this excuse, and it is an excuse because many people are struggling with daily living, making a living for their family and working, and of course they do not have neither the time neither the energy to try and to find the information and to try and dig out about everything that is actually going on. And of course that this was also inflicted by the opposite side that is trying to limit humans and create this environment of division, of hate, of greed, and all of that kind of stuff. And like I said, there are certain beings incarnated here that have certain tasks and certain things to do that they do not know about the result of it or the effect that is having on the overall stuff that is being seen from a higher perspective, from seeing the bigger picture. And personally, sometimes I had certain tasks to do on the astral realm, and and in all my honesty, something happened. I was in one of my tasks, in one of my missions as a guardian, as a being. I had to deal with some humans that played with something that they shouldn't have played with in the first place. They thought that they can control everything, and they thought that they have all the information, and they thought that they had access to everything that that they knew that they could control all of that. But like I said, even so, and even with all the technology, they will still don't know and find out about everything that is going on. And that mystery is something that must propose the overall evolvement of humanity into the direction, not exactly in separation of I don't know what is called the sins, or from religious perspective, not the separation from ourselves, embracing ourselves the way we are, thinking that there are certain parts of ourselves that are dark, that are malicious, but they are not. They make part of ourselves, embracing that, trying to understand it, but at the same time not reacting on it, trying to have more control over our anger, over our egoistical sides, and working through all of this, creating that type of environment in which people have access to food, having access to water, having access to everything that they actually need to thrive. Then the true evolvement will actually happen, and the humanity will propose itself into actually space and evolving like technology, and having not that kind of separation. They think they can actually try and separate those things, but the patterns and those things and more will appear until a certain point when they will have to reveal all of this shit that is going on for humans, for the society. People will be angry about when they are actually going to find out how many ancestral generations they fucked with. And people are going to be angry about all of that kind of stuff. And this is not just a theory. This is just my perspective, and a very big chance for that to happen in the future. It's like a result of certain actions that they did. Yeah. Okay, so there are not many people in the chat room, but that's all right, because we will still go through the things that we are going, and things that, and I'm not going to talk more about all of that, because people actually need. Okay, I'm just going to say that thing, and then we are going to move on this sphere. What people need to know for this right now moment is that they need to they need to be patient, but at the same time work on that ladder to create a better future for their children and for the others. I know there is still this bridge that must be maintained between all of those sides, but at the same time we must understand there is more to this thing other than some, I don't know, egoistical momentarily pleasures and things that we're accepting in this life, thinking that, oh my god, I'm eating an ice cream and life for me is good right now, and then for that it should be good for everyone. Well, it's not good for everyone. There are many that are going through shit right now, and it is really hard for them right now, and we need to help each other. We need to stop dividing ourselves. We need to stop conquering others. We need to try and understand and come into a resolution, a peaceful resolution to all of the conflicts that are happening right now on the planet. We need to create a good environment for every human being that is living right now on the earth. That will mean no starving, no not having a water. People need clean water, people need food, people need a rooftop over their heads, a place to sleep, and we need to help each other, creating a thriving environment for humans. And all of the bullshit must stop, because people must understand that right now we are dealing with a bigger issue than all of this shit that they think is going on the earth right now. We're dealing with an invisible enemy that is trying to conquer and basically see us suffer and feed from our suffering. All of the people that did bad, they must be brought to justice. Something must be done about them. The earth must be cleaned from all of this, and people need to stop dividing each other, and instead of conquering with one and another, they must actually come together and help each other for overall the humanity's growth, rather than trying to divide, rather than trying to hurt another, stealing what they're having, I don't know, being jealous because they have something you don't. Know that everything that is happening and what you have and what they do not have, and vice versa, is for a reason, and we must see that reason. We must create an environment not of separation, and not actually of, keeping away that, I don't know, bad, or I don't know. No, we must see that shit that is going on. If we don't see the shit that is going on, that is going to suffocate everyone, and that is going to affect everyone, and this is going to affect the future children of Earth and all of those people. And we must come together to create a peaceful environment. It's good to have fun, but I believe that everyone that is having fun on others or on their heart, they're having fun because they're seeing others being hurt. They're possessed basically by those dark entities, those dark forces. And I know they don't have a better judgment, but all of that, trust me when I'm saying, all of those light beings, so-called light beings, those entities that they work and are feeding with happiness and love and all of that kind of stuff, they are working their asses right now to clean and to clear all of the things that they have access to and helping humanity. This happened to me as well. Suddenly one morning, one of my guides was helping me and was helping me clear my chakras, my so-called chakras, energetical points, clearing my aura, guiding me through stuff. And I made a YouTube video about this. It's really interesting, and I'm talking about that. And it was really awesome because he basically intervened because I was at a very low level, and then I realized at what actually low level I was at, and yeah, it's really important for people to work as well on this, rather being indifferent, rather being and waiting something, rather thinking that, okay, if that thing doesn't happen to me, then I don't have to worry about, I have nothing to worry about. And people don't need to think about those things in that way, like that. They need to realize that even though they are not being affected, and even though that bad thing doesn't happen to them, that doesn't mean that it's okay or alright to stay laid back and relax, because another being that is made just like you, having a heart just like you, having a body just like you, bones and heart and the brain and the soul, they are suffering and they need your help. So stop laying back and stop working your ass, humans, because we have stuff to deal with, and we must make this technology evolve and work with science and all kinds of possibilities that can project us to actually evolve enough into this and actually explore the space, because there are many things that are happening in this universe, and many anomalies and reality anomalies, and many anomalies and reality anomalies, and there are many things that are going in the universe and space, and that people need to find out about and see and experience. Something really awesome awaits us in the sky between the stars, but we must open ourselves to it, and we must work on bigger issues and bigger problems first of all, and then that, or maybe at the same time, rather than being different and things like that. Okay, with those being said, we're just going to move on for the things that I have prepared for today. The Bogosphere. Let's hope that I pronounce that correctly, because I pronounce it like anyways, And we're going to move on to this, and then we're going to move because we don't have today we don't have many people. I mean, we don't have like anyone in our chat room. But this is going to be saved as a video as well later on my YouTube channel. And I know there are not many people in the chat room right now. There is nobody actually, just the mod, just Klepsy, my husband. And even so, we are going to move on to this what I have prepared for you today, and then we are going to do the overall reading for this following week, the overall collective energy reading, and the overall I don't know, planetary stuff, and connecting with angels and light beings. And yeah, I also created two text documents. They are created with Grog from X, because I didn't want to like read whole I don't know, stuff from the internet, and so